Thanks for coming back for another shift here at the Intensive Car Unit. I want to apologize because I'm not in the garage currently because I actually deleted my original intro video on accident. But enough of that. Today we have some minor fabrication planned ahead as well as some heavy lifting, which I would love to have you guys around for. So go ahead, sit back and enjoy.
Let's talk about some of the things that we have to do to get the engine onto the stand, onto the whole, so we can actually see what's going on. So as you can see here, here's my engine. I still have the clutch cover and everything on, but I've got to get that off before I can get it onto this engine stand, which these things work really, really well, so you can spin the engine, do all sorts of stuff with it. But you can't just pick that up. I mean, some people could, but that engine weighs about 500 pounds right now currently as it's stressed. So we're actually going to use what's called an engine hoist. It's also called a cherry picker. You can get any of this stuff from any auto parts stores. Usually sell them. You can even get them all the way to Harbor Freight. You can spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Some of these things you can get less than $200-300 a piece. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into turning this stuff down. All right. So a couple of tricks of the trade, real quick. Vein of electrical tape and a marker can help you when you're trying to identify things when you're either reinserting them back into the factory vehicle, or in the instance of this, that I can figure out, okay, I need my brake booster line to come off of here, or PCD/EGR valve, or any fuel lines, coolant lines, anything like that. Label them. It's a quick, easy thing. It takes 5-10 minutes usually most to do it. And it allows you the opportunity to go through and say, oh, that's what this is. Because once you get a bag of parts, this stuff gets hard sometimes. And some need to make it that hard. Before we can get too more carried away with actually putting the engine on the stand that's right behind me, we need to actually go ahead and make some brackets to lift the engine, because this thing doesn't have any really good lifting points. We're going to take and use the factory cylinder heads with the bolts. We're going to make some plate steel across there with a bolt through it, so we can then attach it to our little guy right here, and we can lift it, we can tilt it forward, aft, and everything else that we need to do with that. It will also allow us a little bit more stability and control when we're actually building the engine mounts or putting the engine into the FRS. The next thing we're going to do is build some sort of bracket to attach to the spider, which is right over here, because the studs that are in the actual engine block aren't long enough to reach through here, and I just don't want to take a risk with any of that. So what we have, we got some steel tubing, We got some flat bar, and we're gonna use this to get this stuff going. So, hope you enjoy.
But I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh.
Alright, so you guys just saw me cut the flat steel real quick. I cleaned up the edges off camera just to make so you guys weren't being bored with me just grinding on stuff. But as you look here, my plan is to use the flat steel that I've got to lay right over the intake ports into the head, and I'm going to bolt these down and then have a bolt coming through to help lift this engine up. The downside is I don't have a really quick, easy way to actually mark center line, all of that stuff with the ports, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But I'll show you a trick that I'm going to do by using the factory intake. Set this bad boy on, and I'm going to line up my holes, and I'm going to bolt this guy down, and then when I do that, it should give me enough of a center that I can go ahead and get my marks scratched on to the plates. And then by doing that, I'll be able to get my stuff set up and squared away to drill my holes so I can then get everything else finished and built so I can start thinking about lifting this engine up. Did our quick mark down. We could have done it with card paper or taking measurements and trying to do it this way. This is probably the quickest way for me because I didn't have to go inside and get scissors and stuff. But what I wanted to show you was, by doing it this way, the intake manifold left a little bit of spot so I know that I can put my drill mark there for my big bolts, and then I've got my small reference marks here that I scratched on. I don't know if you can see them, but you can see them right there. And then I'm going to drill another hole right here, and that way I can have my mounting plate go straight down to it, and then that'll pull up. So that way, it's just another way you guys can go about doing things like fabrication along these lines. So yeah, let's get to drilling. Eh? Okay, so here you guys can see the final setup. They all line up, bolts will go through. I've got one more Chad's finishing up right now, but what will end up happening is that will allow these to line up, and I can bolt my bracket onto that to then lift the engine up. Okay, so just to show you guys what we're dealing with, I've got the flywheel and clutch assembly off. Now we're getting ready to make our actual pad for this to mount to. Now there are two things that we could do. We can mount it up like this, but you'll notice that the bolts don't match up anywhere with this, and normally they have the little wing extensions to work with, which look like this. The problem with these guys, they're too long. So I've got to make my own to make it work. They would bolt here and attach onto there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take some 1/8-inch thick 1x1 square tubing, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to make similar ones with this stuff, only we're going to cut it down So we can bolt it onto here to bolt it onto there. So that's what we're getting ready to do next.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. My appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.
some heavy lifting that we will be doing. So, nope. The plates to lift the engine off of the subframe and make the arms so the engine stands. Murphy, you jerk. Murphy, stop. All right. Now, if you're enjoying these episodes and are excited, I had it so good.